defensive line is really a position like no other in sports. It's the heaviest humans in the world who have to run backwards to stay in front of athletic freaks. It's the position that nobody notices until they screw up, and they don't really accumulate stats or numbers. This makes it terribly hard to quantify their effect on the game, the whole unit, or just one individual guy, and becomes all the more frustrating when one of them is the best player in all of football. Trent Williams is a 9-time Pro Bowler. We won't even talk about the blasphemous lack of all pros. And at the age of 33, after missing all of 2019 with cancer, he's become not just the most dominant lineman, but the most dominant player in the league. Besides sacks allowed, he's given up just 1, and pressures allowed, he's given up just 15. It's incredibly challenging to determine just how valuable a lineman is, and even those two metrics are equivalent to telling just one sentence of an entire story. Trent wrecks game plans and totally shifts how defenses are playing. His ability to completely erase the opposing team's best pass rusher for an entire day is matched only by his dominance in the run game. He's the last guy you want to see in the open field and the last guy you want to battle head-to-head, but it's not just his physicality. As the big man put it himself, his football IQ is the highest it's ever been, and in his second season in San Francisco in Shanahan's system, he feels more comfortable than he did last year when he, went to his 8th Pro Bowl. The best way to determine how dominant a player is, especially when you don't have reliable stats, is their film, and Trent's dominance jumps off the screen every single snap on tape. Real quick, before we have the treat of watching that, I want to thank the good people at Manscaped for coming back and sponsoring another episode. Manscaped is hands down the #1 men's grooming product company in the entire world, and their Perfect Package 4.0 is without a doubt their best yet. They've created the world's first all-in-one grooming kit that has you covered head to toe, so you literally don't have to buy add-ons or keep shopping at other places. This package has it all. My favorite part of the bundle was, is, and will be the Lawnmower 4.0, a very high-quality shower-ready electric waterproof trimmer that doesn't cut your skin thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology. The Perfect Package also comes with deodorant and toner spray, which are quite pleasing to the nostrils, and extra blades for their lawnmower in case you run out. If you order using my coupon code Rollins, not only do you get the Perfect Package, you also get this pair of super comfortable boxer briefs and the best travel bag I've ever owned to house all of it. To get all of this plus the discount, go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free international shipping when you use that Rollins code. Now, let's run it back with Trent. Before we dive into the good in his film, I want to quickly talk about the title, which refers to the way he tips off run or pass. His tells don't seem to tip off the defense. Not really sure why. It took me all of 10 minutes to pick up on him, but the tendencies are blatant. When the 49ers are running the ball, Trent either has his hand in the dirt or both hands on his knees and has an even stance with his feet. This helps him fire off the ball quicker and produce more power downhill to take on linemen, linebackers, or corners. When it's a pass, he'll have one of his wrists on his knee instead of his hand, and he'll have his left foot staggered behind him. This is so he can generate acceleration backwards to choke off the angle of the pass rusher, which is critical for any offensive tackle and protection. These tells aren't straight up 100%. Sometimes Trent tricks it with pre-snap run footwork on play-action passes, but from the 6 games I studied and charted, it's about 95 to 98% accurate, and yet Trent is still the best in the business. Just keep those tells in mind when you watch him. But now let's get into why he's so special. Silverback, as he's known, is a sick combination of size and speed. He's not the biggest offensive tackle ever at 6'5", 320, but he routinely pancakes defensive linemen a lot of the time due to his impeccable technique, and the 49ers love to get him in space so he can use his athleticism to square up linebackers or corners, and then his power to put them on their backs. We always talk about receivers or skill position players who you can move all around the formation and all over the field, but not really O-linemen. Well, Trent is that dude. You can arc him outside on pin and pull, have him track down defenders on screens, you can get him to the second level consistently. Shanahan has a million different ways to utilize his skill set to create infinite looks on offense. One area where Trent excels is his proficiency at executing reach blocks, where he's able to beat a defender's inside leverage, swivel his hips around him, and cut him off from ruining the play. The 49ers actually run the ball away from him just as often as they run towards him, and that's because of his ability to seal off the backside to create cutback lanes. On zone schemes, which the 49ers love to run, the goal is to create lateral movement from the defense to open up those cutbacks, but if you're cutting back right into backside pursuit, your run game isn't worth jack. Look at how the defensive lineman A'Shawn Robinson is on the inside shoulder of Trent in what's called a 4-eye technique. If the two were to race to a spot, like forget any blocking or anything, Robinson has already got a half step on Trent inside. Not only does Trent have to beat him inside, he has to swivel his hips, body, hands, and feet inside him too to cut him off from the backside, aka reach him. On a play where Robinson has the leverage advantage, Trent is just better, and with the help of a little leverage step from Elijah Mitchell, the 49ers pick up a nice chunk. Trent doesn't just reach defensive linemen, but linebackers as well, who on paper should be way quicker than him, but he can easily track him down in space, reach him, and help create better angles for the back downfield. Guys like him are the difference between a running back picking up a lot of 5 to 8 yard gains and a lot of 20 to 30 yard gains. Linemen who can dig out shades on the line, or linebackers and defensive backs down the field, are what create explosive plays on the ground, so he is invaluable, and that second year of experience in Shanahan's system, as he said, has made him even better. Where he really shows his experience, though, is in the passing game. He's seen every kind of move from every direction or type of player and knows how to build a game plan during the week to shut down the guy or guys he's facing. Against Robert Quinn, one of the most underrated players of this generation, who only has 16 sacks this year, Trent didn't allow a single sack or even a single pressure the entire day. Everybody in the league knows Quinn bases out of one move, his ace of spades, the jab cross-chop club, but Quinn has almost 100 sacks in his career, so obviously people don't have a lot of luck stopping it. The idea of the move is to run directly at the O-lineman and use an inside jab step to freeze his feet, then work outside of him, and when he shoots his arm as a last resort to stay in front, Quinn uses his left arm to chop it down, then clubs it with his right to make the outside super soft so he can create an angle to the QB. But Trent knows all of this is coming. His initial plan for the day was to use his feet to get in front of Quinn and mirror him, but not show his hands so Quinn had nothing to chop at. Quinn's trying to freeze him inside, then chop down, but since Trent isn't panicking, he isn't going to shoot his hands since he's in position, so after Quinn chops at nothing, that's when Trent makes contact and completely wipes him out. He knows Quinn is going to try and use his go-to move all day long, so on the next play he sticks with a pretty similar plan. He's aggressive in using his feet early in the down to mirror Quinn, but then super patient with his hands once he's in position. He has a nanosecond of time in between Quinn's chop and club to make contact, but he's good enough to find that little pocket of time. Once he hits Quinn and gets into his chest, the move is basically dead. Things are going well, but Trent's been in the league too damn long and knows that plan A won't work if he puts it on repeat. He has to have sub-plans in his overall plan to keep Quinn off balance, because he knows he's making adjustments every second as well. One of Trent's weapons is his ghost technique, where he flashes his hands like he's going to make contact with Quinn, but then pulls him back. He's kind of playing into what Quinn's move is trying to accomplish. He knows he's incredibly eager to chop his outside arm, so the ghost tech gives him the illusion that it's there, but then Trent pulls it away like it's Charlie Brown. This lets him get into his body a little quicker, and this thing is shut down. But, as we said, Quinn is over there making his adjustments too, and this is not his first rodeo. The man has 16 sacks. He can also mix up what he's doing, and even though he uses what's technically the same move, he tweaks it a little and changes the tempo of the rush. Trent again uses the ghost technique, which is more of a counter move, so probably not great to use it on back-to-back plays. But look at the angle of departure Quinn's using this time. He's not trying to go inside to freeze Trent with a jab step, he's going right to the edge to threaten him quick. Trent is using his same tempo and footwork as before, but since Quinn's on him a bit quicker and has gotten to the edge a bit quicker, now he actually does have to shoot the arm out that Quinn's been targeting, and he makes contact. Instead of getting inside his pads, he's more outside of them, and Quinn draws the ultra-rare holding call from the big fella. Quinn made a hell of an adjustment just a few minutes into the game. He beat Trent Williams, which nobody does. But you aren't the most dominant player in football without being able to make a couple of adjustments of your own. And on this Sunday, Trent made a brilliant one. Instead of using the ghost technique or not shooting his hands till the last moment, he found a way he could sneak his hands into Quinn's pads that was genius. Before Quinn could even begin the chop, Trent shoots his right hand into him, which saps all his power. Now Trent doesn't need to hold his left arm out, which could be chops, and by getting into those pads and pushing down, he neutralizes all of the rush's power. After that, Quinn tries to adjust by countering that right hand, but he can't quite figure it out, and Trent shut him down for the rest of the day, and the 49ers won 33-22. Quinn is just one of the superstar freak pass rushers that Trent Williams has corralled this season, and whatever situation he's been in, he's proven he will change the game. Consistently erasing the opposing team's best, most dominant player, especially at a position as vulnerable as offensive line, is invaluable for a quarterback and offense to function. When you add in that Trent is probably even better in the run game and can open up so many different facets of offensive possibility, you can see the versatility he brings to the position that isn't always thought of as the most versatile. Trent Williams is the most dominant player in the league. While offensive line stats don't really tell the tale of how important the position is, the value of the player to the team is what's most important. His presence on the field and the fear he strikes into the heart of the opponent, that's where Trent Williams is felt, and that is why he is the most dominant player in football.